What's your verdict on how your candidate has performed at this particular event, which it seems like every Nigerian aspiring leader has gone or will be going eventually?
Well, let me first of all admit that when I started working as a spokesperson for this great Nigerian, I was affected with his affection. But today, as the days go by, I am now infected with his personality. This man has just dazzled the world with his brilliance and convinced the world with his clarity. I have not seen a man who has started rewriting the history of Nigeria, beautifying Nigeria, even before he's sworn in as the next president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, as I know he will by May 29. Look at, I am proud of a principal who became so stingy that he could not even share his questions to other people. He answered all of them. We have witnessed in Nigeria where some candidates went on international molestation of our common psyche and went there and in their generosity shared all the questions and answered none. Have you not seen the difference between a man who is responsible and responsive as a leader, who is going to bring transformative and purposeful leadership in Nigeria, with a man who shifts all the responsibilities for others? Because, of course, like I said in Arise Television, Tinubu is incapable of granting any interview. He's incapable of national debate. He's incapable of being the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So I have a principal who has summarized in Chatham House in a sentence what he wants to do for Nigeria: secured, united, and productive Nigeria. That is just the summary of what he has told the world.
Okay.
He will provide security, he will unify Nigeria, and he is going to shift emphasis from consumption to production through and by running a production-centered economy driven by agrarian revolution.
All right.
And export-oriented industrialization. So he went to Chatham House to elucidate his 7-point agenda, putting flesh and describing how he's going to achieve each and every one of them.
Conversation around structure. Yesterday we had one of the PDP chieftains and a former Senate President of Nigeria, Dr. Bukola Saraki, speak to us, and he brought up this issue around structure of the Labour Party. This time he was speaking to the fact that Mr. Peter Obi, yes, has gathered steam and a number of people in the last few months. However, if he is indeed elected as president come February 25 and sworn in May of 29th of May 2023, then he doesn't have the numbers in the National Assembly to push some of these promises that he's making to Nigeria, which can only be effected by legislature. How would you respond to this? And the fact that he said, it's just a few months campaign, Labour Party doesn't have structure, just one person who is driving the entire party and campaign, it's not going to work. What's your statement? How would you respond to that?
Well, first of all, as you can see, the structures that PDP and APC have is the structure of criminality, structure of corruption, structure of fuel scarcity, structure of poverty, structure of insecurity, structure of bad leadership. I could go on and on. So if Obi is part of that structure, you wouldn't see me being a spokesman to him. And that is why he is coming in to destroy such structures. Let me tell you, Obi is a man that is already used to providing democratically engineered disruptive change. When he was the governor of Anambra State, he had no member of the House of Assembly, none. But he was able to get everything he wanted approved by the House of Assembly. He was able to get everything he wanted in Anambra State, And within 4 years, he became the #1 in the whole Nigeria in all indices of measurement. In MDG goals, he was scored #1 by UNDP. In the poverty rate, he was scored #1 by the DG of NAPEP, the Poverty Alleviation Program, by PDP. In the network of roads, he was scored #1. He built 800 kilometers of roads. In the debt management strategy, he was scored #1 by DMO. And in every other indices, yet he did not have one member of the House of Assembly when he came in as governor. This is what Obasanjo would describe as track record of ability and performance. What you need to be in control is not having members in the National Assembly, as pleasant and as important as it may be. What you need is political will. What you need is strong institutions. In America, independent candidates had become president in America, but they went in and delivered on the job. Obi is going to provide leadership. He is offering a new brand of leadership that is less transactional, that is efficient and effective, that is responsive and responsible. Do you know he was impeached by the House of Assembly, wielding their tyranny of majority? What happened? He went to court, and the court said, no, you cannot vilify a politician because you have majority in the House. There must be a proof of misconduct. And since there is no misconduct by this great politician, you must let him be. And he went back to his state. Obi has committed himself that he will never be corrupt. Indeed, he is incorruptible. So no National Assembly, even if he does not have one person, can move against him because he has to misconduct himself first. If he has not misconducted himself in Anambra State for 8 years, not even taking the land that he is entitled to or pension that he is entitled to, how can he misconduct himself when he becomes the president?
The current president, yes, Buhari, has said in a recent, when he went on the campaign trail in Yobe State, that he does not have, a house to his name in the United Kingdom. You can search him. He is not corrupt. However, this hasn't stopped people around him. We had the AGF, we've had a number of high-profile corrupt cases under this administration. So that's not convincing enough. If one person, in this case, the president says, well, I'm not corrupt, it's no longer strong enough for Nigerians to say that doesn't mean your government is going to be corrupt. So how would he ensure?
Thank you very much for bringing... Good. Thank you very much for bringing up that issue. Because you have reminded me the reason why I followed President Buhari. Because in all honesty, when he tells you he does not have a house anywhere, he's been sincere about it. I can tell you, the closest I reached to President Buhari, I can tell you that there has not been any proof to any personal corruption to his name. No doubt about that. But that's talking about character. And that is why we are saying the 3 C's are the irreducible minimum for the next president. Because character is not enough. You must have capacity, you must have competence. President Buhari is lacking in capacity. Maybe because of his age, I don't know. Because a man who has sat in a hospital for 8 months outside Nigeria, when he's the president, certainly will lose track of certain events. Maybe his competence may be questionable. As you know, his certificate is still being doubted, whether he did his primary school or secondary school. So we need these 3 C's. And my principal has them in excess. When you talk about competence, hey, he was educated in University of Nigeria. He was educated in London School of Economics. He was educated in Oxford University. He was educated in Kellogg Graduate University. He was educated in Columbia University. He was educated in Massachusetts, Boston, Harvard University. All the best universities in the world. That is capacity. When he climbs the staircase, he jumps it, telling you his feet as fiddle. Not just that he's going to be a leader. He's going to supervise the people that are working under him. That is why it is dangerous to elect a president who who cannot even come for a national debate because he's impaired in his reasoning and he has lost his memory, his abilities, his experiences. He has lost all of them. And I'm talking specifically about Bola Tinubu, who is suffering from dementia and amnesia. It's dangerous to bring such a person on the position of leadership. And I am talking about Atiku Abubakar, who is now an octogenarian, who cannot climb staircase. And you can see the best they are already doing. And that is why we are saying that P2B is the only option, not just an alternative option. When you talk about corruption, I've talked about the capacity, the competence, and then the character. P2B, I can tell you one thing. One of his aides met me when they were talking about corruption. He said, I am the one who took the parcel of land to His Excellency P2B. I personally. And I was shocked when he replied. And he said it was not to corrupt him. It was his entitlement. Just like in Abuja, everybody is entitled to a plot of land. As a governor, he's entitled pension, plot of land. But he rejected all of them in order to prove to the world that he came to serve, not for what he will receive, but what he will give. So he's going to tackle corruption. Why? He's going to reduce cost of governance. He's going to ensure the entrenchment of rule of law. He's going to establish an honest and efficient civil service. He is going to live by example. So the structure of corruption, what did you hear about Obasanjo when he talked about Atiku? He said this is a man that has propensity to corruption, tendency to disloyalty. He's a man that is unable to say and stick to the truth at all times. He's a man that has poor judgment, a man that lacks transparency, a man who believes in marabout, a man who
Mr. Okonkwo,
believes in money to pay his way out in all the things he's doing. He has the readiness to compromise morality, integrity, propriety, truth, national interest for self and selfish interest. Corruption personified. He has corrupted the older generation. He advised Obasanjo against open corruption, Kenneth, but encouraged
Kenneth, let's ask the question so that we can move very quickly.
He has infected the next generation with special purpose vehicle of corruption.
In a statement, just the assessment of INEC's readiness to, for the elections come February and March, because there are allegations around one party skewing or vote buying and the likes, and unfairness in terms of picking up PVCs. Has your party experienced this? And in one statement, how can, very briefly, please, I'd like you to respond to that.
Let me make it clear that I am disappointed with INEC. Because people have personally reached out to me to say that some INEC officials collect 2,000 naira from them, 5,000 naira from them before issuing the PVC. Then some INEC officials close their offices before the closing time just to frustrate some people. And in Lagos State, it is already there. If your name is an Okoro or an Uju, they will skip your name and call other names. It's there in the open. So INEC should please be very careful about 2023 election. It's an election like no other. PVCs must be given to everybody and on time. They should come out on time and they should close even later than their time, not before, because of the exigency of the time. INEC has not convinced me that some moles are not working in their midst.
Thank you very much.
They must make sure that they should be up and doing.
And
the security agencies must provide the needed security for this election.
Very good. Okay, but on that note,
to peacefully change our government is closing up gradually. So we must be very careful in 2023.
Thank you very much.
A lot of people are dissatisfied with this system.
Thank you very much.
And it is only open, clean, and transparent election that can assuage the feelings of everybody.
Right. Thank you very much.
must rise up to the occasion. Security agencies must rise up to the occasion.
Yes.
The Chief of Defense Staff, you have known, has publicly
Everybody's got to rise up to the occasion.
By some quarters.
Yes.
So we must be very, very careful.